Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Providing source will comply, strike that, will work with us. I'm going to try and show you how to make the breaking wall you see in the Valve's diversity event video. We see them putting the end of the portal in the wall in a hallway and the wall on the side getting sucked off into it and then replacing itself. Although I'm not going to show you how to replace itself. That I have already done, and I'll just glance over it, just walk you through what's in there, but I won't actually make it. Now, first off, I'm going to cut this wall over here into a nice 128 by 128 square. This is where I'm going to put the diversity event, and I'm not going to make the model. I'm going to do bare bones, and if everything goes well, the trigger push I add will actually push what it's supposed to. Been having some problems with that lately, so if it doesn't work in the tutorial, hopefully it'll work for you. Failing that, I really don't know. 48 units away, and pushing out to the right, good. And now, open up the properties, Alt-Enter, if you have the object selected, or you could also go to Edit Properties, Alt-Enter, yeah, right there. Now, start enabled, good. Now, we want this to suck, not blow. I can't believe I just said that. Next up, I'll increase the radius to 192. So that way, this, where it cuts off at the wall here, when you place a portal, that will be continued, so to speak, from the exit portal on the other side. It's radius of effect, and I'm going to uncheck push players because I don't want to get myself sucked through the portal and stuck in the center, unable to get away. Okay, next up I'm going to change to a trigger texture. And create a trigger push in and around here. Control-T to bind it to an entity, and type in push to limit the results to the trigger push. Apply just to make sure, and affect all pushable physics objects and physics debris. Now from test map 9, the laser cutting to level pneumatic diversity event, those are the settings I used, the flags I set. And unlike that, I'm actually going to have this push on the y-axis going up, matches directly with the top view, and put the speed of push to 1000. In previous testing, after that map, this has not worked. Within that map, this works perfectly. Copying entities over breaks it. Not copying the entities, making it from scratch breaks it. Yeah, the authoring tools, there's a reason why they're still in beta. That or I'm just incompetent. I don't know. Okay, now I want to create a brush at 4 units thick and 32 square. Center the view, Control-Shift-E to center 3D view, Control-E to center 2D views. And it's on its side. That's better. Now I'm going to tie this to a Func Fizz box. YSB will give you enough unique characters to get the exact thing you want. Gonna name this 1. And under flags, motion disabled. This is going to be an edge piece. So now I'm going to create, actually just click, drag, and duplicate. If you're still unfamiliar with it, select with Control left click and then Shift left click drag to duplicate. Of course, if you have your mouse reversed, it'll probably shift right click or whatnot. I'm going to just to make this a little more continuous on both sides. So left click, hold Alt, and right click. Okay. Now the edges are motion disabled, but I want the centers to only be asleep. Reason for this is once the vacuum hits it, it'll wake them up and then start the flapping in the wind. Now, I want to make sure I'm not in the radius of this. Good. So it shouldn't be pulled away before it's time. In which case I can move this back 32 units. Good. Next up, you'll want some hinges. So, Entity Tool and look for hinge. Now, what I want to do is have it so these two are moving along like this. To do that, I'm going to put the hinge between them and drag the origin of the hinge along the line I want them to revolve around. So this way, this will move back and forth here. If I were to put this, drag this up, they would be moving around here. So, just gonna name all these again. One was named, now it's two, and this is just the tedious thing. If you make this into an instance and save it for later, you won't have to worry about naming schemes or anything of the sort. Much, depending on what you want to do. Okay. 15, 16. Awesome. How much time am I running on? 7 minutes and 41-ish seconds. Depending on how well the audio syncs to the video. Okay, now, take your hinge, and for Entity 1, select the entity above it, and Entity 2, the entity below it. Now I'm going to duplicate this hinge, using the same shift, drag, click, cross, and to the bottom. I don't need to put it in the middle, over here, because that's what I want to have loose and flapping. Otherwise, with the top anchor, the bottom anchor, this is just going to bow back and forth. Maybe. Alright, now do the same thing with all the other hinges you just duplicated and connected them to the rest of the panels you created, or the pieces of said panel. Said panel? It's not as bad as the breaking wall and disparity. That was about 200 brush entities connected to another 200 entities for moving, connected to 8 entities for moving in a different direction. That was a pain. Alright, now that these are set, these are anchored, and these are starting to sleep, I'm going to give it a dry run to see if it'll flap in the wind without breaking apart. Of course, the player, if you bump into it, you will awaken the center pieces. So you can add a clip to prevent that, a player clip, that way they can't pick them up or otherwise interact with them until after they're ripped apart. Dev Tetris support portals. I didn't know that. And again, I never tried. Alright, just to make sure this thing's working, do we have particles? Yes, we do. Next up. There you go, flapping in the wind. Hinges aren't breaking, so you aren't going to see anything flying off. Now what I want to do is make 2 hinges here break. Now, from previous testings, the diversity map I made, 800. Pretty much anything below 1000 will break if you have a plant push pulling at -40 or pushing at 40. So from there, those two, what I want them to do is when they break, enable motion. On the base, and also enable physics and pickup so you can throw them about. Copy that, go over here, paste it, and change its anchor entity to there. Do another compile, make sure it's working. Okay, and one of them flew off, but the pull is too strong for those other ones to get away. And let's see if I can pick this up. Nope, you can't pick it up. What I've done before is not working here. Though I warned you about that, so no surprise there. Right, stop having fun. Okay. So now, since these 2 hinges are going to break on their own, I'm going to have them trigger the rest of the hinges to break. So, I'm going to give all the hinges the input to, or the output, excuse me, to enable motion on their bases, on the anchored pieces. And because I don't think I was being thorough enough, I'm going to enable physics and pickup on all the pieces that were asleep. Sorry, Fizz Cannon. It's like confusion about Fizz Cannon versus Fizz Gun. In the original Half-Life 2 files I was playing with. Before they upgraded the Orange Box engine, so... yeah. Ugh. Didn't even do that. I think they're supposed to be separate weapons. If you put the missing information demo or mod, you'll have the Fizz Gun, which is pretty much the Gary's mod gun. You pick stuff up, you can rotate around and whatnot, and then you have the Fizz Cannon, which is what the gravity gun. Or I have the terms mixed up. On that. Now, I'm gonna name here, these 2 hinges are the ones that'll break. So, I'm going to name the rest of the hinges according to what they're attached to, and have the breaking hinges, have them break on a timer. And I think I'm going to come up close to the 15-minute mark, so I'm going to pause right here. There'll be a slight jump and a hiccup, and I'll continue. Over. Okay, great. Now where was I at? I just had to wait about 15 minutes for it to compile the video. Yes, 15-minute recording and a 15-minute compile. I really should find some better software. Okay. Hinges. Physical pickup. Ah, yes, I want to break on a delay. Not on delay. On delay. Oh, forget it. Alright, this one's going to break, so... naming, not named. Hinge 913. Okay. Hinge 4-5. Hinge 12-16. And hinge 11-15. Oop, there we go. Alright. Now, let's see here. Check. Recording. Good. 104. Now, what I want to do is grab this hinge that's going to break, and as it breaks, break the one above it after 2 seconds. Yeah, 2 seconds. Break the one next to it after 2.5. And break the one diagonally from it after 3. Do the same up here. Actually, I can just copy the input and change the targets. Okay. Now, let's see. What is it? Next to it, across from it, and diagonally from it. All of these should have input. Okay. Compile, and let's see what happens. That's right, Portal 2 is right there. Clear the console! Yes, VAC mode enabled! Error, non-game session. Thanks. Okay. One portal over here, portal over there. Those broke off. A couple seconds later, those and those. Now, see, it's not really centered off, so it didn't really affect the other side, so I'll just move this over here. There we go. And now we have a mass of panels that I can't really interact with. Because I can't, you might be able to. Who knows? Geronimo! Nope. Rejected. So that's pretty much it, a breaking wall. Now, on to what I said I'd show you after doing this. I'm just having fun watching it cycle around. Let's open up map diversity event tutorial test. So over here is where I put that, and this is pretty much a copy of that wall that I just made. Of course, it works better. And note, I can pick this up. And they're using the same exact settings. I don't know why that's the case. This is a direct cut out of Test Map 9. Now these are just funk brushes, these two, parented to these two models with the appropriate attachment points as well, panel attach. There's a trigger that fires output to set the animation once the final panel here leaves the starting area. And that's really it. So if I were to go to it over here, just to show you what I mean, flags, motion disabled, these did not do anything for me. And note, I did not have anything about always can pick up on the flags for Fizzgun. It received the enable Fizz Cannon pickup, and I can pick them up in this map, but not in the other. Yeah. Anyways, over here, let me see if I can select this trigger. Nope. This. It's flagged the trigger on physics objects. And correct me if for mass. Once all of these leave, so it's not being triggered by anything else. I don't have a counter, just on N touch all. Once it's completely vacant, it'll set the animation and then kill itself. This is actually a frame to keep him from awakening too soon. Because I removed it from the map, it doesn't have the world brushes around it to support anymore, so they'll just awaken for an unknown reason. There is the funk brush, connected to panel top, attachment point, which is connected to telescope arm 128 glass. That's it. And just to see here, pushables, faces, objects, physics, debris. As you saw, it worked facing up and at 800. So you saw both an example of it working and not working with the same exact settings. With that, I hope that was helpful. If not, send me a message. I'll post a comment.